I want to talk about why it's important to heal, and other than the obvious reasons. But this is obviously something that I am extremely passionate about because I lived it. I walked the walk. I did. And I do not want anyone to suffer because of wounds that they have not healed. Because I know the value of time and how precious time is and how we do not ever get time back. And I sometimes kick myself that I didn't heal myself sooner, but I'm just happy that I did. And I think, well, maybe I wasn't ready to, or maybe, whatever. But the point is that you do not have to be defined by your pain. And, I was to the point where I used to joke with my friends when I was young and say, oh, I came into the world broken. That wasn't exactly true, but it may as well have been, because my earliest childhood memories were that of the wounded child. So, in a sense, I guess my whole entire life was a broken person, which it was. And when I finally set out to heal the wounded child, I had no idea how to do it because there wasn't any information out there then. There's a lot of information out there now, and I'm glad to see it. I just think that so many of us are tired of seeing, scams and BS out there because it's very prevalent. It is. It pisses me off almost every day. But anyway, you can heal and you should heal because your life will be infinitely better. And I can speak to that because, like I said, I walked the walk. I was a wounded child for a lot of years. More than I care to admit to, but it was a lot of years. And I wish that I would have been able to do it sooner. But like I said, there were reasons that I didn't. And part of those reasons were I had already defined myself. I had already accepted the fact that I was a broken person. And I just thought, well, this is the way it goes, too bad, so sad. But it wasn't until I actually went through the process, which then there was no process. It was, I had to figure it out, and I did, thankfully. But I really didn't think I could forgive. I didn't think I could ever really get better. I thought that was kind of as good as I can get. I did reach, professional success in a pretty big way. And it was then that I realized that I had a problem, because even then, after doing that, working so hard to build something great, and I did it by myself, I should have been very proud of myself. I should have felt really good about that. And when I was approached to do an interview for a national magazine based on what I had built, I turned it down. It would have helped me professionally, but I couldn't face, I didn't think I was good enough. And I thought, wow, I really have a problem. If I feel this poorly about myself now, how could I be this broken? But I was. And, I'm not going to qualify anybody's pain because we all have a story. And my point is, if you can heal, you should do it. And you should do it for you, because you will be mind blown. I'm still fundamentally the same, but I am so different than what I ever was or could have been had I not healed the wounds that were, clouding my way and keeping me in that self-imposed prison. And I call it self-imposed because once you reach adulthood, if you stay there, it's your choice. And I did stay there, and I allowed myself to be mistreated and I actually kind of sought it out, I believe, and I speak of that in the book. I tell my story only because I don't like to tell my story. I don't. I'm telling my story because I'm hoping that it will reach somebody, one person that wants to heal and hears my story and understands that, you know what? There's hope. There is. This is something that you absolutely can do. It's not that difficult. It's so not difficult. It's insane. And I want to teach everybody how to heal themselves so they don't have to walk around in this horrible state of mind all the time, and they can learn to really truly know their authentic self. And like I said, it will blow your mind. It will. I test differently now on the personality stuff, and I find that so interesting because I am now authentically who I always wanted to be. Go figure that one out. But you can be better, and you don't have to suffer. And I don't want you to suffer. I don't want anybody to suffer, because that suffering is deep, and I know how deep it goes. I do. And that self-hatred, and that I can't do this, I can't do anything because I'm just no good, and I'm just, I'm the one that used to believe that I, as a baby, lived in what we would know as like a pound for pets, where people put the cats and dogs and people walk through. That was my vision of where I came from for a lot of years. A lot of years. And I will never know where that came from because I had never been to a pound. But that's how I envisioned my adoption, and how I came to be adopted was people were walking through and they're like, okay, well, it's not really what we want, but we'll take it anyway, because I was always told nobody wanted an older baby, and I was an older baby. I was in foster care for almost a year. So that was my vision. That was my self-portrait, that I came from that. And it's pretty horrible if you think about it, but everybody has a story, and mine's not any more horrific than anybody else's, and I'm not going to pretend it is, and I don't want it to be. I'm just using that as an example of what a wounded child, how a wounded child can think about where they came from if they're told something that isn't so nice to hear. Because children can't process things like adults can. They can't. And I was told when I was about 3 that I was adopted, that I wasn't wanted. So you can imagine how that, what that did to my little 3-year-old psyche. I was no good. Nobody wanted me. And these people, they were willing to take me, so I should be grateful, right? How come I wasn't grateful? I was miserable. I used to sit on my front doorstep and wait for my real mother to change her mind and come back and get me. I mean, pathetic. I was pathetic. And I was pathetic for a lot of years. So when I healed myself, I was like, whoa, who is this awesome person? Oh, this is the person I always wanted to be, who I actually always was. But it was held, it was submerged underneath all of the garbage that was put on top, all the wounds that I had not yet healed. So my point is, no matter how bad you feel right now, I promise you, and I don't like to promise anything, but I can promise you, if you go through the process and heal yourself, you will have a totally different opinion, not only of yourself, but of your life. And I never thought I could forgive. I really didn't. I just thought, I'm not that person. I didn't, wish harm on anybody, but I couldn't forgive because I was really messed up, and I was mad about it. I was. And I was sad. I was always sad. And I healed that. And I can speak about my childhood all day long now, and it does not hurt. It doesn't hurt anymore because I healed it, and you can heal yours too. And I want to help you. And that's the only reason I'm putting my story out there, because I really don't like to talk about myself too much. Don't like people in my business. But you know what? I'm proud of the fact that I am a healed, wounded child, and I healed those wounds, and I'm a better person for it. And I want to help you. You don't have to suffer.